Right, with us now is Congressman Krishnamoorthi, a Democrat from Illinois who happens to be running for Senate from that state as well. Congressman, thanks so much for being with us. So the original deadline for trade deals for the tariffs was April 9th, which then slid to July 9th, which is tomorrow, which is now sliding to August 1st, which is a few weeks from now, which the president says is firm, but not 100% firm. So if you are one of these countries, South Korea, Tunisia, any one of these countries that's out there, what are you supposed to think of this moving target?
Well, you think that it's Taco Tuesday. Trump always chickens out. He pivots. But the bottom line is it creates great uncertainty for small businesses and others, including in my district and in Illinois. And it really hurts them. They pause hiring, they pause investment. It's harder for them to get investment. And some are even beginning to lay people off. We just went to a small business that was going gangbusters before Liberation Day. And since then, because of the uncertainty created by this tariff chaos, they're laying people off. So it has real world consequences, and it's hurting people and working families.
You mentioned working families. You are running for Senate, as I mentioned, in Illinois. There was just a Democratic primary here in New York City, and the winner was Zohran Mamdani, who is a self-avowed Democratic socialist, espouses policies that are not part of the Democratic mainstream. And I put that in quotation marks there. I guess my question to you is, what does it tell you about what Democratic voters want right now?
Well, I think that, first of all, he ran a tremendous campaign. He identified the right problems of affordability and the pain points that people are feeling economically. And I think that's something that Democrats have to speak to. Now, we may have differences in terms of our solutions or approaches to solving those problems, but unless you are attuned to the kind of underlying pain that people are feeling and you listen to them on these particular issues, they're going to tune you out on everything else. And so to that extent, I think that we can agree that, at least from my standpoint, we have to pay closer attention to the kind of economic problems or challenges that people are facing right now.
What concerns do you have about the party being pulled in that direction, particularly in primaries? What happens?
Well, I think we have a healthy debate about, what the solution should be to those problems. So, in my case, I've been talking a lot about, making sure that everyone has access to the American dream the same way that my family did. I'm a child of public housing and food stamps. And as you know, with the One Big Beautiful Bill law, I call it the large lousy law, that particular legislation cuts those particular supports, especially for people who are working. And if you're doing that at the same time that you profess to want more people to work, I think people see right through that, and we have to point it out. But that also means that in addition to pointing out the flaws in what Trump has passed and signed into law, we need to provide solutions to people's problems and kind of upskilling themselves for the economy of the future, which is something that I've worked on in Congress.
Elon Musk forming a third party, he says. How much appetite do you feel that there is for such a thing? And which of the two main parties do you think it would help or hurt more?
I'm not sure about the appetite, but at the same time, I think that there are a slice of Republican voters who would probably side with Elon Musk on some of the policy positions that he's taken. And I think it would hurt Republicans if he were to form this party, especially to the extent that it kind of appeals to people in battleground states like Pennsylvania and otherwise. All that being said, I don't think that what Elon Musk did with Doge is something that's popular at all with anybody. And that's something that, my constituents are constantly complaining about as well.
The Department of Justice says on Jeffrey Epstein, no client list, no new charges. What does that tell you? What questions do you have there?
Well, I'm not really sure. I haven't really delved into the findings, except that, again, my constituents aren't focused on that. They're really much more focused on kind of the economic chaos that they're seeing right now. I think that's partly why Trump's approval rating on the economy is so low, and they want They want steady management of the economy. They don't want the chaos of the tariffs, and they don't want the large cuts to Medicaid and the social safety net programs that the large, lousy law is prescribing.
Well, they want something, and they're texting you very, very actively about it right now. Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi, great to see you this morning. Thank you very much. Sarah?
All right. Thank you.